Now, this second section of the body armor iron palm training is mainly for the legs. Now, I will show you two different impacting equipment. One is this here is a what you call it, a 1/4-inch diameter steel rod. Can be bought at hardware stores, and is a 2-in-1. It's a 2-bar, a 2-rod equipment for training. Now, it's done in such a way that you can use tapes, cloth tapes, material tapes, and wrap it around like this. You could do it in such a way that it's not close together, that there's a little bit apart, so that when it's used, it sort of like impacts the body that way in more vibratory sort of manner than a solid whack, right? We do not want a solid whack. So that's for the beginning or beginners people. And the 4-rod equipment is for the more advanced, okay? It's again taped fairly loose so that you can feel the vibrations and all that, and it's more ending up like when you massage with your fingers, tapping like that. It's not so severe a clunk rather than a big hit to the body part, right? It's a sort of vibrating sort of steel rods. It still goes through the body a bit, the thigh and everything. So when you use that, you use it this way. Now, for this to be used, you can use it onto the thigh. Tense up your thigh muscles before you hit it. Okay? Now from here, don't put it too far away, just nice and easy. Tap, 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 tap. Go from the bottom at the tip of the rod to the top, and go downwards, up and down, up and down. Okay? When you do this, you go up, you go down. That's one set. You go up, you go down. That's another set. You do 30 sets. That means up, down is one set. 30 times up, down. Okay? From the tip. And do not strike with a lot of force in the beginning. Strike with whatever force is more than comfortable. That means you gotta hurt a little bit, you know. You can't do like what some iron palmers do in the YouTube, where they just go pat 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 like this, and it doesn't work, you know. That's just a waste of time. Now we are on to serious training, and this is how you get the results. After a good session of this, we're talking about a good 6 months or 9 months, then you can use the heavier one, depending on the strength of your muscles and everything. Now, when you do this, I said in the beginning, you tense up all the time while you're doing this, right? In the advanced section of training, what you do is you don't have to tense up, but relax. But as you hit it, right, then you tense up on impact, okay? So that's the more advanced type of training with the more advanced 4-rod equipment, okay? Now, that's for this. And the next round of training will be with this. Now, the soaking again on the thigh is using sponge, right? Let's say this is a tub of iron palm herbs, and you put a stool there, and you've got a stool over here, and you get the sponge to rub over it, and rubbing into the areas in which you train with your palm, okay? And then more sort of a sponge with the iron palm liquid, and go into it. It will fall right into the bucket where you hold your herbs, and that's the way to do it. Another way of toughening the thigh area is with the iron bag. And you do the iron bag with handheld, and you crush it like this and tense it as it impacts the leg. Okay, so in that you're gonna do the outer thigh. You don't do inner thigh at all, and you do the top of the thigh, where you this time you hit the thigh with the rod this way. See, just now we were doing it at the side. We do the side and the top. Okay, so, and similarly, use this iron bag to train up and down to, from up to down and down to up. That's one set, two sets, and so on. So that's being used as well. And very importantly, you might be 35 when you train this, but you will hit 75 one day. And when you do, and if you fall on your hips and break it, you know, it's not a good thing. So what we want you to do is to make sure that you have impacting on the hip area as well, to ensure that you are toughening up this area. So as you hit it, it's not going to injure your hips, it's not going to fracture it, mainly because these steel bearings, they part, they give. If you use a solid iron block and then whack it, you're going to get definite fractures and stuff. That's because it doesn't give. Then something else will, which is your bones. So the point is, using this to do this, what happens is you actually getting to strengthen this, because you're causing stress to bones. When you cause stress to bones, liquid bone comes over and gets into a new sort of area and gets it sort of like much more gets much more tense, denser and stronger, and it sort of like builds a very strong structure once you stress it intermittently, on and off, right? So that's for the hip area on both sides. And again, sponge, iron palm herbs, rubbing into it. Right? Once you wet it, you can rub into it, and so on. The other areas which you want to get to train would be your shin area. This is an iron tube, say about 3/10 of an inch thick, and about that long, roughly about 10 centimeters. It's about 10 inches long, and it's about 26 centimeters. So what you do is that's for your shin area. Now, this is what you do. Hold on like this, and start from underneath your kneecap, and start slowly rolling it down, not too hard, and then up again, down, up. So that's 2 sets. Starting from high position to low position, that's down and up, is 1 set. We do 30 sets and soak the leg into the solution. How we can do this is get your iron palm herbs into gum boots. That's much bigger size than your leg. So if you're a size 10, get a 12, right? So that there could be, sort of room to sort of like put your hands in and rub into the areas, into the instep and stuff like that. So this going up and down with your shin will end up having reasonably good shins, and when you crash with other leg parts of the opponent, you're going to get the upper hand for sure. So that shin work is one of the things you do to toughen up with the steel tube or steel rod. And also another way of doing that is using impacting with steel ball bearings into that, not too hard, okay? According to your own pain threshold, you can, get this training done sensibly and wisely without any injuries. And all those folks that did the iron palm course with me, they can always ring up and sort of like get some checking and advice as to how they're progressing. I will look after folks who have been in the course right through their course, and there's no extra charge or anything. So this impacting onto the area will toughen up your shins. I would say for the legs, it would be good to do at least 200 instead of, say 210. That's 30 in a set times 7 instead of 30 in a set times 4 of the arms. So the legs, you have to do it, but not too hard. You have to make sure you do it sensibly. Now, there are other areas which you can train, which is instep, which you can hit in this particular way. That's one way of instep training, and that's by impacting 30, this time 30 times with the impacting times 3 lots of 30s, and the other 3 lots of 30 you do 6 times 30, which is 180 in all. The other one is done this way, where you get to kneel down and get one leg up and do the impacting this way without too heavy impacting. Nice and light. You can even lie down on your tummy and then slam onto the iron bag like this. Okay, so that's the instep. You can also use the bag for heel training, which is stamping down. Okay, again, this one is about 4 sets of 30. There's 120 in that. The heel is already a hard area, but you want to strengthen it a bit more and toughen it a bit more with the bearings, so you can impact it like this with a sort of structure of the leg which is totally bent like that at the ankle. And then the other one would be the half point or ball of foot, which would be stomping them down this way. Okay, so this type of stomping is similar to a kick that goes this way. Okay, so and those karate people that use the blade of the foot to do their side kicks in, they can stomp down this way. Okay, it's very straightforward. So for people who do this, they use about say 180 times, that means 30-30 soak, 30-30 soak. So 6 times 30 is 180 times. So that's the blade. You don't train the sole of the foot, never ever. For some other ones, now this is just something extra which you don't need to do. I myself, I have trained in toe work. So in the toes, it can also be a fairly strong weapon if you've done a lot of training, but it's not important. I would prefer actually the ball foot to the toes. So because the toes are not easy to train, well, unless you're a ballerina, you toughen up there structurally for stuff, then you'll be good with that. So that's the end part of the leg training. And also for knee work, you can bend your knee like this, and do light impacting like this when it's totally contracted. Okay, so only when it's compressed totally. You don't train the knee when it's loose and dangling around. So that's that part of it, and that's the whole of the iron palm course for the arms and legs. Okay, thank you.